Shalom. I want to show you something real quick. Alright, now we're going to go to 1848 came up again. And, I just had read about this a while back and it always stuck with me. You see here the first line. From the Greek group of people. And then Genesis coming into being. And, that always stuck with me, man, because we know the Creator makes people, made people, as it states in the Bible. But I went down a little bit further and seen this talking about specific cases. And, it talks about the Goths there, and talks about the Greeks, and, it's kind of interesting, but then it talks about the indigenous people of the Southwest. With the arrival of the Spanish in Southwest North America, the Native American of the Jumano cultural sphere. And I said, who's Jumano? And when I looked up Jumano, Western Texas, there it is. Junta de los Rios. And, alright, so then I went to Junta de los Rios, and I was reading this. Trying to see where it talked about it, man. Alright, here it is. So I didn't want to read through the whole thing. Sorry about that. It took a minute. Alright, so we got La Junta was a stopping point on the Chihuahua Trail, a trade route that linked the port city of Indianola, Texas. And I said, what's Indianola, Texas? So sorry, it's gonna kind of jump around, but when I went to Indianola, Texas, it went somewhere different than what I had thought I was looking at. I thought I was looking at Native Americans, Aboriginals, but it led somewhere else. Alright, so it's talking about it's a ghost town. But then we're gonna get to some history. And we're gonna see German immigration port of entry. And I said, what? And then it says there, Prince Karl of Solms Braunfels represented, and we're gonna look up who that is too, because he started one of the cities there. Here's Prince. Represented the Aldverzine selected Indian Point in December 1844 as a point of entry for the varying colonists from Germany. I said, what colonists from Germany? Prince Solms renamed the port Karlshafen in honor of himself. Count Karl of Castell and Count Victor of August of Leiningen, Westburg, Outleningen, whom Solms claimed had been christened Karl. Alright, we're getting into some blah 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 stuff. Alright, so let me see. Let's talk about New Braunfels. That's the town. Still there today, I believe. Alright. Well, this is where it talked about to keep the Germans from interacting with any Americans. They went the long ways around and went to kind of a strange, out-of-the-way place. It says they don't want them interacting with any Americans. See, it's popping up around 1848 again with the revolution in Germany. See, I did a video before about the revolution, about 1848. All these different revolutions, so-called revolutions, happened in Europe, and the story was that it was the overthrow of the old feudal system, and this is by by his story, but yeah, so it's the overthrow of the feudal system out there, and so by the official account, it's the overthrow of the nobility. So what we know about the history of Europe is that it was a black nobility and a white underclass or servitude. So for us to be seeing this German immigration, and this is what I kind of started to piece together in my head. That this immigration was the German nobility, the black Germans. Okay, but I'm gonna show you a few other things, and I guess I'm gonna read something. I don't really feel like it, but all right. So that was Indianola, Texas, and that was where the Germans were landing. Around the time of, it actually says starting in the 1840s, up until about 1850, and they were called the Aldverzine. And it just says that Says that they were in Texas. Society for Protection of German Immigrants, better known as the Mainzer Nobility Society. Organized April 20th, 1842, was a colonial attempt to establish a new German settlement within the borders of Texas. The Altversen was organized April 20th, 1842. So you see, it was a bunch of dukes, noblemen at Biebeck on the Rhine. They gathered at the castle of the German Duke of Nassau, the future Adolf. That makes it sound like Adolf is a title, like Africanus or fucking Caesar or Caesarian section. But Grand Duke of Luxembourg, who was named protector of the society. In Germany, the society was referred to. Okay, that wasn't it, but that's just the that's tying it together to the nobility. In these settlements in Texas. And actually, there were several of them. I read quite a bit about it, that there was quite a few different land grant sales of land tracts and things like this. And what they formed was Latin settlements, what's known as Latin settlements. I'm not sure where they're getting the Latin from, but this article says that Latin settlement is commonly founded by German immigrants to the United States and in the 1840s. So when we kind of tie all this together, they're not talking about it here, but they're fleeing obviously a bad situation. What's becoming a worse and worse for them situation. They're losing control of the slaves. So that settlement, and so they started to come over to Texas little by little, and they lived at first as these Latin settlements. Most of these were in Texas, but there were Latin settlements in other states as well. These German intellectuals, so-called free thinkers and Latinists, they found these communities in order to devote themselves to German literature, philosophy, science, classical music. And I even read that they said that they actually were trying to form a nation. You see the consequence of the revolution. Philosopher, professor, and students became to North America to avoid being arrested and prosecuted because they believed in freedom. We know the truth to be because they were melanated people and rulers, and overthrown. I don't know. I'm gonna do a video soon about how even the nobility that so-called had lost the battle, was overthrown, still was giving up children, or children to be married into the new oppressors, the new aggressors' family. So they married into the new nobility. And it's actually Montezuma married into one of his children, married into the Duke of Avila, I think. I'm gonna do a video about it. Alright. So, anyway. I don't know if I'm gonna go with this video because I didn't read shit. But anyway, so then New Braunfels, right? That was the name of the Texas city. And so I looked up Prince Carl. And I'll just